You know, I was talking to someone the other day who said to me, they said, "I've been doing everything right. I've been working hard. I've been faithful. I've been positive. And yet my finances look like a comedy of errors written by someone with a very dark sense of humor." And I laughed. Not because it's funny, but because I've been there. We've all been there. That moment when you check your bank account and you have to check it 3 more times, because surely those numbers are playing a trick on you. But here's what I want you to know right from the start, and I mean this with every fiber of my being. God said, "I'm restoring what was delayed financially. Not maybe. Not if you're lucky. Not if you jump through 17 more hoops." He said it. It's done. The question is, are you ready to receive it? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, that's nice and all, very inspirational, but my landlord doesn't accept divine promises as payment. I get it. I really do. You've been waiting and waiting, and it feels like everyone else got their breakthrough yesterday while you're still sitting here with yesterday's problems and tomorrow's bills. You've watched people who seem to do half the work get twice the reward. You've seen the promotions go to someone else. You've had the business ideas that should have taken off, but somehow just sat there on the runway like a plane with technical difficulties. Delayed flight after delayed flight after delayed flight. But here's the thing about delays that most people don't understand, and this is where it gets interesting. A delay is not a denial. Let me say that again, because I need you to really hear this. A delay is not a denial. In fact, sometimes a delay is protection. Sometimes a delay is preparation. Sometimes a delay is God saying, "Not yet, because what I have for you is so much bigger than what you're asking for, and you're not ready for it yet. You think you're ready, but honey, if you got everything you wanted 6 months ago, you'd be in a mess right now. Trust me on this." I remember a time in my own life when I was absolutely convinced that a certain opportunity was meant for me. I mean, convinced. I could see it. I could feel it. I had claimed it. I had affirmed it. I had done everything right. And it didn't happen. It went to someone else, and I was devastated. I thought, God, did you not hear me? Did I not have enough faith? Did I mess up the formula somehow? And then, 6 months later, that whole thing collapsed. The opportunity I thought I wanted turned out to be a disaster for everyone involved. And in the meantime, something better, something so much better, had come into my life. But I almost missed it because I was too busy mourning what I didn't get. So, when we talk about financial delays, we need to understand what's really happening in the invisible realm. Because see, most people think that prosperity is just about working harder, saving more, investing smarter. And yes, those things matter. I'm not telling you to sit on your couch eating chips, waiting for money to fall from the sky, although wouldn't that be nice? But there's a spiritual law at work here that's just as real as the law of gravity. You wouldn't jump off a building and expect to float, would you? Of course not, because you understand gravity. Well, there are spiritual laws that govern abundance, and when you understand them, everything changes. The first law is this: what you focus on expands. Now, you've probably heard that before, but let me tell you what it really means. It doesn't mean you just think positive thoughts and ignore reality. It means you direct your mental energy toward what you want to create, rather than what you're afraid of. Every time you check your bank account and say, "I'm so broke," you're putting energy into being broke. Every time you say, "I can't afford that," you're affirming lack. And the universe, God, the divine intelligence, whatever you want to call it, says, "Your wish is my command." You want to experience not being able to afford things? Here's more of that. But here's where it gets tricky, and this is where people get confused. You can't just pretend you have money when you don't. That's not faith, that's delusion, and your creditors will be happy to explain the difference. What you do instead is you acknowledge where you are, but you don't make it your identity. You don't say, "I am broke." You say, "I am currently experiencing a temporary cash flow situation that is already resolving itself." See the difference? One is a permanent state of being. The other is a temporary condition that's already changing. The second law is the law of circulation. Money is like water. It has to flow. When you dam it up out of fear, it stagnates. When you let it flow, it comes back to you multiplied. Now, I know someone just had a panic attack reading that. You're thinking, is she telling me to give away the little money I have? No, I'm not telling you to be foolish. But I am telling you that hoarding energy, including money energy, always backfires. There's a difference between saving wisely and clutching your resources in fear. Fear creates a vibration of lack, and that vibration attracts more lack. It's like trying to attract a butterfly by running at it with a net. The harder you chase, the faster it flies away. I knew someone once who was in real financial difficulty. I mean, serious trouble. And someone gave them some money. Not a lot, but enough to buy groceries for a couple weeks. And the first thing they did, before they even bought their own groceries, was give a portion of it away to someone who needed it more. Now, logically, that makes no sense, right? But you know what happened? Within a week, money started coming to them from the most unexpected places. A refund they'd forgotten about, a freelance opportunity, a debt someone repaid that they'd written off years ago. The universe saw them operating in faith instead of fear, and it responded in kind. The third law, and this is the one that trips people up the most, is the law of deservingness. You have to believe you deserve the prosperity that's coming to you. And I don't mean in an arrogant way. I mean you have to know, deep in your bones, that you are worthy of abundance, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. You are a child of the divine. You are made in the image and likeness of infinite abundance. There is no lack in God, and there is no lack in you unless you believe there is. But here's what happens. We grow up with all these stories about money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter heaven. We absorb these beliefs like sponges, and then we wonder why we can't seem to attract wealth. It's because part of us believes that wealth is somehow wrong, that wanting it makes us shallow, that having it would make us bad people. So we sabotage ourselves. We get close to success, and then we do something to mess it up. We get the opportunity, and then we freeze. We make the money, and then we find a way to lose it. I want you to do something right now. I want you to close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to imagine yourself with all the money you need. Not just enough to get by, but enough to live comfortably, to be generous, to pursue your dreams, to help others. Now, what comes up for you? Do you feel excited, or do you feel guilty? Do you feel unworthy? Do you hear a voice saying, "Who do you think you are?" Because that voice, that's the voice of your conditioning, and it's a liar. The truth is that you were born to prosper, not to struggle, not to just barely make it, to prosper. And when you prosper, you're not taking from anyone else. Abundance isn't a pie where if I get a big slice, you get a smaller one. It's infinite. There's enough for everyone. In fact, when you prosper, you create prosperity for others. You hire people. You support businesses. You contribute to causes. You inspire others to believe they can do it too. Now, let's talk about why your financial restoration has been delayed, because I know that's what you really want to know. You want to know why it's taking so long. You want to know when it's going to happen. You want to know if you're doing something wrong. And the answer might surprise you. The delay might not be about you at all. Sometimes the delay is because other pieces have to fall into place first. Sometimes it's because the people who are supposed to bless you aren't in position yet. Sometimes it's because the timing isn't right in the natural world, even though it's already done in the spiritual world. Think about ordering something online. The moment you click that button, the transaction is complete on your end, right? But the product doesn't appear instantly. It has to be processed, packaged, shipped, delivered. There's a delay between the transaction and the manifestation. But the whole time it's in transit, it's yours. It's already yours. No one else can claim it. It's on its way. That's what's happening with your financial breakthrough. It's in transit. The order has been placed. The payment has been accepted. Now you're in the delivery phase. But here's where most people mess up. They get impatient during the delivery phase, and they cancel the order. They say, "It's taking too long. It's not coming. I must have done something wrong." And they stop believing. They stop affirming. They stop acting as if. And when you do that, you literally interrupt the delivery process. It's like calling up the shipping company and saying, "Never mind, I don't want it anymore," and then being shocked when it doesn't arrive. So what do you do instead? You prepare for the arrival. You make room for it. If you're expecting a financial breakthrough, you don't just sit there in the same old patterns doing the same old things. You start acting like someone who's about to receive a windfall. You clean up your financial habits. You organize your paperwork. You create a budget for the money you're about to receive. You decide how you're going to steward it. You make plans. You get excited. You thank God in advance. And this is important. You stop complaining. Complaining is the fastest way to block your blessings. Every time you complain about your current situation, you're affirming it. You're energizing it. You're inviting it to stay longer. Instead, you start speaking what you want to see. You start saying, "Money comes to me easily and frequently. I'm a magnet for financial blessings. Opportunities are everywhere. God is restoring everything that was delayed, and it's happening now." Now, some of you are thinking, that sounds like lying. It's not lying. It's speaking from the end. It's speaking from the perspective of the reality that already exists in the spiritual realm and is making its way to the physical realm. Jesus didn't stand in front of Lazarus's tomb and say, "Well, he's been dead for 4 days, so this is probably hopeless." No, he said, "Lazarus, come forth." He spoke to the reality he wanted to see, and reality rearranged itself to match his words. Your words have creative power. Did you know that? The Bible says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Your words are either creating the life you want or the life you don't want. There's no neutral. You're either building or destroying with every word that comes out of your mouth. So what have you been saying about your finances? Have you been saying, "I'm always broke. Nothing ever works out for me. I'm terrible with money. I'll never get ahead"? Because if you have, you need to stop right now. Today is the day you change your story. Here's your new story. God is restoring what was delayed financially in my life. Money flows to me from expected and unexpected sources. I am blessed coming in and blessed going out. I have more than enough for myself and to share with others. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just, and I am the just. I am walking into my financial breakthrough right now. Say that every day. Say it when you wake up. Say it before you go to bed. Say it when you're worried. Say it when you check your bank account and don't like what you see. Say it until you believe it. Say it until it becomes your new normal. Because here's the secret. You don't have to believe it for it to start working. You just have to say it. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word. The more you hear yourself speaking abundance, the more you'll start to believe it. And the more you believe it, the more you'll see it manifest. Now, let me give you some practical steps, because I'm all about the spiritual truth, but I also know you need something you can do today, right now, to start this process. First, write down every bill you have, every debt, every financial obligation. Look at it. Don't be afraid of it. It's just information. Now, next to each one, write paid in full, in red. I know it's not paid yet in the physical, but you're declaring that it's paid in the spiritual. You're setting the intention. You're giving the universe, God, a clear target. Second, create what I call a prosperity journal. Every day, write down every bit of money that comes to you, no matter how small. Found a quarter on the street? Write it down. Got a refund? Write it down. Someone bought you coffee? Write down the value. What you're doing is training your brain to see abundance instead of lack. Most people only notice what they don't have. You're going to become someone who notices every blessing, every provision, every act of generosity, and the more you notice it, the more of it you'll see. Third, practice giving, even if it's small, even if it's $1, even if it's a sincere compliment, even if it's your time. Get in the habit of being a conduit for blessings, not a dam. When you give, you tell the universe, I trust that there's more where that came from. I'm not operating from lack. I'm operating from abundance. And the universe says, oh, you're operating from abundance. Let me show you some abundance. Fourth, and this is crucial, forgive everyone who owes you money. Forgive everyone you think did you wrong financially. Forgive the boss who didn't promote you. Forgive the business partner who cheated you. Forgive the family member who borrowed money and never paid it back. Forgive yourself for the financial mistakes you've made. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It only hurts you, and it blocks your blessings. You cannot receive what you're not willing to release. Fifth, start tithing or giving to something that feeds you spiritually. This isn't about obligation. This isn't about manipulation. This is about honoring the principle of circulation. You're acknowledging that everything you have comes from God, and you're putting Him first in your finances. When you put God first, everything else falls into place. I've seen it happen over and over again. People who start tithing, even when it doesn't make logical sense, end up with more than they had before. Now, I want to address something that might be holding you back. Some of you are thinking, but I've tried all this before. I've done the affirmations. I've done the vision boards. I've tithed. I've given, and nothing changed. And I hear you. But here's the question. How long did you do it? Did you do it for a week and then give up? Did you do it until it got hard and then quit? Did you do it with 1 foot in and 1 foot out, hedging your bets, not fully committed? Because here's the truth. This isn't a sprint. This is a lifestyle. This is a fundamental shift in how you see yourself and how you interact with the world. You can't microwave a miracle. You can't do affirmations on Tuesday and expect $1 million on Wednesday. But if you consistently, persistently, faithfully apply these principles, things will change. They have to. It's law. And here's something else. Sometimes the breakthrough doesn't look like you thought it would. You might be waiting for a specific job, and God sends you a business idea. You might be waiting for an inheritance, and God sends you an opportunity to increase your skills and earning potential. You might be waiting for one door to open, and God opens a window. Stay flexible. Stay open. Don't get so attached to how you think it should happen that you miss how it's actually happening. I also want to talk about the importance of gratitude, because this is where the magic really happens. Gratitude isn't just a nice thing to do. It's a powerful spiritual tool. When you're grateful, you're operating at a high vibration. You're in alignment with abundance. You're telling the universe, I appreciate what I have, and I'm ready for more. Ungrateful people rarely prosper, and when they do, they're miserable because they can never have enough. Grateful people prosper and enjoy it because they've learned to see the abundance that's already all around them. So start a gratitude practice. Every morning before you even get out of bed, think of 3 things you're grateful for, and at least one of them should be financial. Maybe you're grateful you have a roof over your head. Maybe you're grateful for that cup of coffee you're about to have. Maybe you're grateful for the job you have, even if it's not your dream job, because it's providing for you right now. Train your brain to see the good, and you'll start to see more good. Let me tell you about the time I was completely broke. I mean, broke. I didn't know how I was going to pay rent. I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. And I was tempted to panic. I was tempted to worry. I was tempted to complain and cry and give up. But instead, I decided to throw a gratitude party. I walked around my tiny apartment, and I thanked God for everything. I thanked Him for the walls. I thanked Him for the floor. I thanked Him for the light bulb. I thanked Him for my breath. I thanked Him for my life. And as I did that, something shifted. The fear left, the worry left, and a deep peace came over me. And within 2 days, the money I needed showed up in the most unexpected way. That's the power of gratitude. It shifts your energy from lack to abundance, from fear to faith, from worry to worship. And when you're in that state, miracles happen, not because you earned them, but because you aligned yourself with them. Now, I know some of you are dealing with serious financial situations: debt, bankruptcy, foreclosure, repossession, and you're thinking, This all sounds nice, but I need help now. I understand. And I'm not minimizing your struggle, but I am telling you that even in the darkest financial moment, God is working on your behalf. Even when you can't see a way, He's making a way. Even when it looks impossible, He's arranging things behind the scenes. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is to trust that He will. Your job is to keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep doing what's in front of you to do. Keep speaking life. Keep believing. Keep expecting. Your job is to be ready to receive when the breakthrough comes. Because it is coming. God said He's restoring what was delayed, and God doesn't lie. Think about the children of Israel in the wilderness. They wandered for 40 years. 40 years of delay. Can you imagine? But the whole time, their shoes didn't wear out. Their clothes didn't deteriorate. God provided manna every single day. They were sustained in the delay. And then, when the time was right, they crossed over into the promised land. Not because they were perfect, not because they did everything right, but because God is faithful. And what He promises, He delivers. You're in your crossing over season right now. You might not feel like it. It might not look like it. But in the spiritual realm, things are shifting. Doors are opening. Connections are being made. Resources are being released. Favor is being activated. And very soon you're going to look back at this time and say, I can't believe I doubted. I can't believe I almost gave up. Look at what God did. So here's what I want you to do right now, today, as soon as you finish listening to this. I want you to take one small action step toward your financial breakthrough. Just one. Maybe it's making a budget. Maybe it's applying for a job. Maybe it's starting that side hustle you've been thinking about. Maybe it's having a conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's signing up for that course. Maybe it's asking for help. Whatever it is, do it. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until you feel ready. Do it scared. Do it messy. Do it imperfectly. But do it. Because action is the bridge between the spiritual and the physical. Faith without works is dead. You can affirm all day long, but if you don't move your feet, nothing moves. God will give you the ideas, the inspiration, the opportunities, but you have to act on them. You have to meet Him halfway. You have to show Him that you're serious, that you're committed, that you believe what He said. And as you take that action, I want you to know that I'm cheering for you. The universe is cheering for you. God is cheering for you. You're not alone in this. You're supported by an infinite intelligence that wants you to succeed even more than you want to succeed. You're backed by a power that can do exceedingly, abundantly above all you could ask or think. You're connected to a source that owns the cattle on 1,000 hills and has unlimited resources at its disposal. So stop trying to figure it out in your limited human mind. Stop trying to manipulate and control and force things to happen. Instead, surrender, trust, believe, expect, receive. Know that what God has for you is already yours. It's just making its way to you. And in the meantime, live like someone who's expecting a miracle. Walk with your head up. Speak with confidence. Give with generosity. Love with your whole heart. Be the person now that you'll be when the money shows up. Because here's the ultimate secret. The breakthrough isn't just about the money. It's about who you become in the process. It's about the faith you develop, the character you build, the trust you learn, the peace you cultivate. The money is just a bonus. The real treasure is the transformation. The real wealth is the wisdom. The real prosperity is the person you become when you learn to trust God in the waiting. So yes, God is restoring what was delayed financially, but He's also restoring your hope, your faith, your confidence, your joy. He's restoring your vision for your life. He's restoring your belief in yourself. He's restoring your relationship with Him. And all of that is worth more than any amount of money could ever buy. Now, before we wrap up, I want you to leave me a comment below. Tell me one thing you're going to do today to move toward your financial breakthrough. Or tell me one thing you're grateful for right now. Or just tell me you're ready. Because when you speak it out, when you declare it, when you put it into words, you're activating something in the spiritual realm. You're saying yes to the blessing. You're agreeing with heaven. you're aligning yourself with abundance. And if this message resonated with you, if something in your spirit just said yes, then hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. We're going to keep talking about prosperity, about faith, about manifestation, about living the abundant life you were created for. And I want you on this journey with me. I want to celebrate with you when your breakthrough comes. I want to hear your testimony. I want to see what God does in your life. Remember, you're not reading this by accident. You're not here by coincidence. This is a divine appointment. This is God's way of reminding you that He hasn't forgotten about you, that your breakthrough is on the way, that everything that was delayed is now being restored. So receive it, believe it, live it. You are blessed, you are favored, you are prosperous. And your best days are ahead of you, not behind you. Now go out there and walk in your blessing. It's already yours.